Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a like and a comment.
And you can share with a friend if you enjoy it, and subscribe so you're notified of new videos.
Thanks and enjoy the show. The budget has been spoiling the fun for this young couple as they try to complete their dream kitchen in their first home until they get a little help from Today's Homeowner.
Like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to do this justice?
Miller and Brittany Callaway are newlyweds who recently purchased and renovated this 1930s era home.
Miller and I had talked about what are the things that we absolutely must have. And the number one was a front porch. So that was what drew us to this house. It's got a great big front porch. My dad was very enthusiastic about this project in general.
Our real estate agent had showed it to us, and I immediately, along with him, looked at it and said, this is it.
I hated it the first time I saw it. Wanted nothing to do with it. We did a lot of the renovation between the two of us. We basically did all the demolition and just the manual labor.
The budget was definitely an issue.
I was much more intent on them being financially independent, mostly so I get them off of my payroll.
It did get to be a little bit touchy because it was our house.
Anytime you do business with someone you love, there's gonna be there's gonna be some tough conversations.
And so yes, it was my role in this project for them to look at them and say, okay, this is how much money we have. We would sit down and we would talk about the budget.
The budget was capped at a certain amount, and so it was a finite amount of money that we had to work with.
And I said we could either do this banquette for the kitchen, or we could do the bookshelves that surround on either side of the fireplace. I said it's either or, you can't have both.
So we went with the built-in bookshelves, but that of course leads us to the banquette and what we hope to accomplish.
So that's our primary project, but there's also some smaller ones they want to tackle.
The backsplash was definitely something that we thought about during the renovation. It was on our list of things to do, but it was very low on our priority list just because it was something that could be done after the fact. Once we were living here, he's a very enthusiastic cook, so we'll be cooking spaghetti or frying bacon, and of course it splashes and pops and gets on my walls, gets on my cabinets. And my cabinets, my walls.
Now it's time to begin working out the details on how to get it done.
I like the idea of the bench seating, maybe with a back to it, and maybe some throw pillows to add some color to it.
Gotcha, yeah.
I like the idea.
And a little bit of storage down below.
Yeah, definitely some storage. Extra storage is always a good idea.
Sure. That sounds fun. There's a lot of different designs. Of course, we can match the cabinetry very easily. I assume you know the color of the cabinets.
Yes, and I like the idea of replicating the shaker style on the end of that to just tie everything together.
That'll be fun. Alan will jump all over that. He loves building things like this, so we can get him working on that.
Perfect.
Well, Danny, I was hoping you'd help me out. So, got a bit of a problem over here. Basically, anytime I cook, there's just sauce flying everywhere. You name it, there's a little bit of remnants up there. Yeah. Well, I was hoping we could put a backsplash over the oven, or maybe over the whole wall, just to help me out.
What kind of tile were you thinking about?
I was thinking something simple, like a subway tile, just something functional, and just add some character to the wall.
Sure, that's fun. All right.
Even though we have plenty of pantry space, I still like the idea of adding a little bit more functionality to the storage that we do have under here, and maybe adding some rollouts for the lower cabinets, just to be able to organize and have everything be more accessible.
Sure. Once Brittany and Miller decide on the tile for the backsplash and agree on a style for the banquette, Alan drops by to go over it and make the measurements he'll need to create a detailed plan for the custom cabinetry. Well, it's obvious Brittany and Miller aren't scared of a little hard work. They've done an amazing job in renovating this house. I'm looking forward to showing Brittany how easy it is to install a ceramic backsplash for that little finishing touch in her kitchen. While she and I are busy masking off the surrounding cabinets and countertops, Miller and Alan are at our workshop beginning the construction of the banquette. So how do you think Miller's going to do with building cabinets?
I think he's going to need a lot of help. I'm glad he has a helper over there. He's about as handy as I am, which is to say, not at all. So, I like this best out of all the ones that we had looked at. I like how it's nice and clean and simple. And this was a little bit less intimidating on the mat rather than just the individual tiles.
The individual tiles, this really spoils you. Okay, have you ever used one of these?
I haven't.
Okay, all right, well, you're gonna do that. We're gonna start right over here. And the thing about the notches is that it allows it to be real uniform. While the tile setting class continues here, check out this week's simple solution for your kitchen.
At every hardware store, you can buy these self-adhesive hooks they make. You just peel them off and stick them to the wall, and they're great for hanging all sorts of items. But I found a solution where we're going to install them upside down. If you look here at this trash can, it has drawstrings. But the problem with the kitchen trash bag like this is when you throw in garbage, especially wet, heavy garbage, it has a tendency to pull the bag into the can. So we're going to solve that problem using these hooks. And again, we're going to be installing them upside down. The first thing is put the bag in the can and press down the bottom so that's not up in the air, and then pull down the drawstrings on each side. And then we're going to put the hook right on, again, upside down on the drawstring. So peel off the protective paper in the back, right there. It's got pretty strong adhesive. We're just going to stick it right to the can. Hold it for a few seconds. And of course, we're going to put another one on this side. Hook it on, pull it down, peel off the paper, and press it. There you go. You want it pretty close to the center. There. Now we'll just put this back in place. And what you'll find is now when you put in the trash, you throw it in. Once the hooks are engaged, the bag will stay put.
We're helping newlyweds Miller and Brittany make some great improvements to their kitchen. Brittany and I are tackling a tile backsplash while Alan and Miller are building a custom banquette back at our workshop.
I have no experience.
Okay. I've built a lot of window seats, which basically that's what this banquette is. It's a couple of window seats, but Brittany wants a back on it. That's a challenge. I've never done a back, but I've got an idea in my head, and that's when I get dangerous.
And we're just gonna lay this up here.
And how do you know how far to make it go over?
Well, on the long pieces,
We'll just line it up with the
hit exactly
the
with that tape.
And so then with the pencil tiles that we're going to edge it with.
Oh, you have pencil tiles?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we need to see those right away.
Oh, do we? Oh, wait, we forgot the pencil tiles.
So I'm glad you told me about the pencil tiles. Is there any other secrets that you have?
I think that's it. It's kind of tricky around them.
Yeah, that's why I did the first part was easy.
Thanks for that. And so it's all right that we don't put the tiles on immediately. It'll stay wet enough
For a little
to
while.
adhere.
Yeah, you can't get too far ahead of it.
Gotcha.
That's another big common problem where people will just go and put all of the thin set up, and then they come back,
And it's already dry.
and then it's starting to dry. Let's get this one in, because this is going to require some cutting.
And it doesn't have to be super exact, right? Because the plate will go over it.
We're trying not to bank on that too much, so I'm making the cuts as closely as I can. Now back at the shop, Miller is getting a full-on cabinet making tutorial
Gotcha.
while they put together the frame for our cabinets, and he seems to be loving it.
And he was so excited about things that he's done by hand, like sanding, driving nails, that we've got machines to do. He loved that. The man was crazy about the table saw.
I'd have to say that my favorite part was definitely the table saw, just getting it up there and just running it through it.
Do you think Miller and Alan have broken out the first aid kit yet?
No, Miller with a saw or any kind of sharp blade makes me nervous. And you kept all your fingers.
I did.
See how I did that? That you started doing all the
Yeah, and you're just
the
following.
bad stuff, and I'm just doing the easy
You're doing the fun stuff, huh?
Yeah. See how that works?
Getting a little bit of an arm workout.
You know, we always have a lot of surprises on remodeling projects, but I guess I surprised Brittany a little bit when I asked her if she had any lipstick. Do you have any old lipstick?
Yeah, I should.
Give me a little lipstick.
Okay.
Any color's fine.
Okay.
She looked at me like I was crazy. You can see it worked out really well to mark the box, the electrical box, behind the ceramic, so we know exactly where we need to cut the tile out. Okay, this is the piece we've been waiting on. I'll give you the honor.
Perfect.
Just it should slip in there. I don't even think we're going to have to notch it or anything. Oh, look at that.
Perfect.
So what do you think? Is this what you'd envisioned?
It looks Absolutely wonderful. This is exactly what I was hoping for. It looks even better than I was envisioning.
All right, were you able to get it all in the truck?
Yeah, believe it or not, it's all in the truck.
Perfect, perfect. You already got some pre-assembled?
Yes.
So we're gonna just stage this outside?
Yeah, that's what I want to stage it out here, then get everything out of the way, and
A
then
little bit of baseboard. We got to figure out what to do with it.
that's what's going to be the slow start to the day.
Once the shoe molding is removed, they can put the base in place. The bottom panel and cabinet frame go in on top of that temporarily so they can mark the bottom panels to be cut for an exact fit against that baseboard. Then the cabinet frames can be installed for good.
Wow.
That's
wow.
Nice. Isn't that nice?
That is wonderful. It couldn't be better fit.
That's perfect. Look at that.
We have lunch ready?
Yeah.
While those two are slacking, Brittany and I have a backsplash to grout.
It looks so good already.
Yeah, you can see how it's going to blend in really well. Perfect on the grout color, I think.
Yeah, well, I thought it looked good before we even had the grout in, so even better.
And you will appreciate it even more when you grout it yourself. Here you go. While we are wrapping up this backsplash, why don't you check out this week's best new product?
All right, tell me if you can relate to this. You're lying in your bed in the middle of the night, you wake up because you hear this chirping sound, and you know exactly what it is. It's the low battery indicator on either your smoke or your CO detector. Well, you know, when polled, homeowners say that is the most annoying sound, and because of it, 6 out of 10 homeowners will not replace the old battery with the new one, thus rendering their alarm detector, their smoke detector, useless. But Shay, you have got a solution to this problem, don't you?
Yes, Kidda has a worry-free combination smoke carbon monoxide alarm. It has a sealed lithium battery in it, so you don't have to replace or worry about it within 10 years.
Wow, that is astounding. So not only are you going to be safe, but you're not going to encounter that annoying chirp at all too. What else is there about it?
It has a voice alarm on it, and it warns you danger.
Oh, so it'll actually speak to you?
It will.
Danger, danger, get out of the house. That's awesome. And you know, you're supposed to replace these detectors every 10 years anyway. So when it's done, basically the whole system is done. So you just go out and get another one.
Worry-free.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're helping Brittany and Miller put a bow on the renovation of their 80-year-old home with a few projects for their kitchen. Now Brittany is headed to the Home Depot with my daughter Chelsea. They're picking out some stain for the table they'll be refinishing to go with the banquette and looking for a few storage solutions to maximize the cabinet space in this kitchen.
I like the look of the wood better, given the choice, but if they both function the same, I guess I'm really open for either.
Back in the kitchen, we're getting the outer panels attached to the cabinet frame. Then the supports for the backrest can go in, and finally, the backrest panels themselves. Yeah, just like that, perfect. There you go. Is that all you got?
Woo! Turns out Alan knew what he was doing after all.
And after that, it's just a matter of trimming out the top edge. In the meantime, Brittany and Chelsea have returned from the store and are busy outside applying the stripper to that table.
So will this get all the stain out, or?
Probably not, but it helps loosen it up, and then we'll scrape it and scrub it off, and then we'll sand whatever's left.
Gotcha. So by the time we're finished with it, will it look like
Ideally,
the bare
it'll
wood?
be bare wood, yeah.
We used this great citrus stripper that smelled good. It didn't smell like harsh chemicals or anything, and let that sit for a while. And then we got these tools and just started to peel off the stain that was already on there.
Now, with all the carpentry work on the banquette complete, I'm setting up Miller for the process of priming and painting it. Put a really light coat on everything going with the grain.
Okay. All right, see, yeah, I usually like to paint with the grain.
Oh, do
going
you?
back and forth. Actually, Danny and I were talking about that earlier.
I bet you were.
Yeah, you're doing a pretty good job.
You're such a pro. I could learn from you.
Once the primer is dry, then you can putty and caulk before applying the top coat.
We have painted before, but not quite this high pressure of a situation because we've got this beautiful wooden banquette and it has all this potential, and then Danny hands us the tools and says, hey, it's all on you. You've got it. This is your homework for tonight. And so we're standing there with our caulk gun and our bucket of paint like, oh my gosh, are we going to be able to do this justice?
So how'd the painting go last night?
Went really well. At least we think so.
Looks good. Looks good. So you got primer and a coat of finish on it.
Yep, and then I think we'll do one more. You can see a couple spots where we painted last night. You couldn't really tell it needed one more, but
Brittany,
we'll finish
happy
it.
with it?
I think so.
That's important.
We'll
Okay,
find out.
so did you figure out where she wanted all of this stuff?
Yeah.
While Miller and I are installing these rollouts, Brittany's dad, Danny, drops by to check the progress.
Good, looking good.
Now, I would guess with all of the work that took place in this house that he was a pretty frequent drop by, checking things out.
That would be a safe assumption.
Is he a list maker? Does he make the list? Or does he say, put that on the list?
He does. There were many lists and there were many what felt like conference calls.
Kind of reminds me of another Danny. As we're installing the store-bought accessories, Alan is putting together a simple rack with wooden dowels to organize the lids for Brittany's cookware. Meanwhile, Chelsea and Brittany are busy on the front porch, sanding that table to get it ready for stain.
For someone who says she's not very handy, Brittany sure is getting a hang of the sanding, and I think she kind of likes the sander.
So make sure to not overload the brush.
Yeah, and you're gonna wanna just do long strokes with the grain.
Okay.
All right, so even if you liked this color, it's important that you don't let the excess kind of puddle on it like it is now. So
Yeah.
I'll go and just wipe it up real quick.
And when you're wiping it, do you still need to go with the grain like you painted it?
Anytime you're working with wood, everything you do is with the grain.
Yeah.
No, I think it looks good.
This is looking really good. I
Especially
like the contrast of
with
it.
the darker hardware on it.
Yeah.
All right, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Now we just have to let this dry and let the stain soak in, and we'll
Okay.
put a coat of polyurethane on it before we leave today.
All right, that sounds good.
Awesome.
Cool.
Back in the kitchen, there's just a few hinges and pieces of hardware left to install. So just a little bit of touch-up paint and ready to put the pillows in place here.
It's ready to go.
That's great. You know, I can just imagine all the great things they can store in this little storage area. You know, seasonal items, maybe kids' toys, just about anything that you don't have to get to every day. That's the place to put it in there. You know, I can't wait to see the stained table as soon as it's nice and dry, put in place. That's going to finish things off. People remodeling their kitchen often ask what I think of microwaves mounted over the stove. While I understand the desire to save space, I usually advise against it. Whenever I can, I replace over-the-range microwaves, or OTRs, with a proper vent hood like this one we're installing from Newtone. That's because most OTRs only recirculate cooking fumes through a filter and back into the kitchen. Now, even if they do vent outside, they just don't cover enough space to adequately capture all of the smoke and steam generated in most kitchens. Not to mention the danger of small children climbing over the stove to reach the microwave. A properly sized, installed, and vented range hood will do a vastly superior job of removing cooking fumes from your kitchen, and in the process, you'll improve the indoor air quality of your home. Miller and Brittany wanted to finish a few remaining projects in the kitchen of their newly renovated home, and we've helped them do that with a few $100s and a lot of labor. The banquette we added has turned a sterile seating area into a cozy corner for those long conversations, and the subway tile backsplash blends in so well with the style of this kitchen you would swear it has been there for 80 years as well. It seems only right that this project should be such a success because Miller and Brittany have worked so hard this week, during the daytime with our team and on their own at night.
We absolutely love the banquette. It fits perfectly into how our kitchen already was, and it looks like it was always there.
It looks so clean, but also livable. I mean, it's not a sterile kitchen where you feel like you can't knock over a glass of wine for fear of ruining the countertop or ruining something.
Or spill a pot of spaghetti everywhere.
Yeah.
You know.
That's easily cleaned up now. Absolutely.
Now I'm looking around the house and wondering what else can we.
Yeah.
You know,
on to the next
what can I fire up a table saw on and take care of ourselves.
You know, I love it when I meet people that are very passionate about things, and certainly Brittany and Miller are very passionate about their first new home. Hey, do you remember your first new home and how hard you worked to be able to spend that first night in it, and what a great feeling that was? And if you haven't purchased your first home yet, I'm sure it's right around the corner, and when you buy that home, I hope you'll take us along so that we can help you make that house your home. I'm Danny Lipford. Thanks so much for being with us here on today's Homeowner. Hope I see you next week.
It's going to be so hard to move out of this house. I mean, we are so attached to this house.
Maybe we can just add on to it.
Maybe. I mean, we got a big backyard.
We can call Danny.
Yeah. We could.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to like, comment, and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified of new videos.
And be sure to click around and watch some more videos while you're here.